So Arbitress YouTube channel. In today's class we'll learn how to make this beautiful organza ruffle detail on a dress. It can be on a dress, a blouse, or wherever you want it to be. It's a very simple tutorial and it's beginner friendly. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so to make this ruffle, what you first need to do is to take the measurement of where you're going to be placing it. In this case, I'm placing it around the neckline, and I'm going to be using this bodice as a template. So now I'm going to take my measurement round like this, from front through the shoulder, from the back through the shoulder to the front, all the way back to the back panel. So you just need that measurement. So for me, I have around 43 inches here. Okay, so we are using organza for the ruffle. So the organza you're working with, depending on how full you want it to be, just make sure it is like twice the measurement you took. So for me, 43 inches multiplied by 2 should give me 48 inches thereabouts. But for this 43 multiplied by 2 should give me 86, sorry. But for this tutorial, this organza is just 1 yard, so that's what I'm going to be using. And the length of the organza is 60 inches. It's by 60. So I'm using the length by 60, and then the width is 1 yard, which is what I'll be using. So if you want it to really go around and be fuller, you can consider using up to maybe 2 yards, but I'm using a yard of organza fabric for the purpose of this tutorial. So I have my organza like this. So the hem of the ruffle, we are not going to sew it. So for it to be neat, what I'm going to do is to fold this into two by the yardage. Remember, this is the length, the one that is going to go around your shoulder, and this is the yard. Okay, that's like the one that drops down. Okay, so I'm going to fold this into two, and once I fold this into two, it's going to give this hem a nice finish like this. So it's not going to be sewn. So you're going to fold your organza into two like this, and then you give it a good press. You iron it well so that it's going to lay well for you. So now I've folded mine into two now, and then I've ironed it. So the next thing is for you to either pleat. Okay, so you can pleat it or gather it, whichever one you want to work with. So now I'm going to start measuring at intervals now, and then I'm going to pleat it like this. Okay, so make sure that this sealed edge, the one that is neat, is the one that is going to be under, and then this two opened edge is the one that we're going to be sewing to our neckline. So now to pleat this, I'll first fold it into two to make it easier for me. So it depends on the amount of lines that you want to have. So I'm folding this into two first, and then I'll notch it. Then you can fold into two again. So this is just going to guide me. I think I'm just going to be placing this in front so that it can be full. So I'm notching this again also. By the time I open it, I have 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. So using my chalk, I'm just going to make this into a straight line so that it can be really feasible for us to see what I'm about to do. So I have my ruler here. I'm just going to mark a straight line. So this is the first one. This is the second line. This is the third line. So that was why I said you should have at least times 2 of what you measure. This can be more if you have enough fabric to work with. So now on these lines, along these lines that I have marked, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine now, and then I'll pleat it. So you can pleat or gather. So when pleating, I'm leaving a little space on the upper part here because I still need to turn it. So I'm going to pick it like this and pleat. So you can see how I'm pleating it. Then after pleating it, I'm going to hold it down with a stitch. So I'll do it for this, then I'll move to the next line. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to pleat it. Then after pleating it, I'll hold it down, and then I'll move to this side also. I'll pleat it. Then this closed edge also, I'm going to pleat it on both sides. I'll pleat it like this also, and hold it with a stitch, and then do the same thing for this. So I'll go over to the machine now and pleat this, and then I'll bring it back to show us what we have. Okay, so before I go, because I want this to go round, I decided to change the lines from four. Remember, I divided it into two earlier, then I later divided it into four. But I want this pleating, I want one pleating to be at the center front, one to be where my sleeve joins to my armhole on the front area, then the same place where I have my sleeve joined to my armhole on the back, and then the other one is going to be for the back, which means I need at least 3 points for each of the sides. I don't, let me use the fabric to understand. So this is the cloth that I'm attaching this to, and I'm going to be pleating this. So this is the front. I want one pleat to be at the front, I want one pleat to be where my sleeve joined my shoulder here, I want another pleat to be where my sleeve joined on the back also, and then another pleat to be at the center back. So it means I need 1 2 3 4 pleating for each side. So now, so this is the midpoint. Then I want I to divide these points into 3, so I'll have 1 2 3 4 for each of my side, and then from the center also for the other side I divided it into 3, so I'll have 1 from the center front. I'm going to have 1 2 3 4. So this is going to be the center front, this is going to be the sleeve for the front, the sleeve for the back, and then the center back. So now I have around 1 2 3 4 5 6 points. So now I'm going to go ahead and pleat it just like I explained earlier. So I'm gonna have to pleat it at this point, but like I said, gathers will also work fine. It may even be more bulky than what we have here if you work with gathers, so you can try that out. So now this is what this is going to look like for each of the points. The next thing is for you to bring in your bodies. So now you're going to make sure you use this to turn the edges. So how do you do this? This is how you want it to be by the time we're done. So what I'm just going to do is to place this the right side of the fabric against the wrong side of the fabric against the right side of the organza. Sorry. So now if you place it like this and you sew it, by the time you flip it over, this place is going to be neat. So now to do that, now I'm going to start matching the points. So you're going to start from the center front. This is the notched center front, and this is the center front of the body. So you pin the center front against each other, then you pick the next pleating and pin it against where you have your shoulder joint to your, where you have your sleeve joint to the bodice on the front, and then you do the same thing for the back. So you start to pin it at this point. Okay, so you do the same thing for the back also, and then you pin your center back. Okay, so you can trim up these edges so that by the time you turn to fix your zipper, it's going to be neat. So the same thing I have done now, I'm going to do to the other side also. I'll pin it to the sleeve, and then pin to the sleeve at the back also, and then you pin to your center back. That's your CB. So now by the time you pleat it, you will notice that you have excess. So you can see this excess that we have here. So this excess now you're going to either pleat or gather also to fit into what you want it to fit into here. So this excess now I'm going to pleat it and sew. So here also the excess that I have here, I'm going to pleat it. So I'll go and sew that now, so that by the time we flip it, we're going to tack this down. Okay, so I've gone ahead to sew this round, and you can see that the leftover that I have there, I just pleated it at intervals. So by the time I flip it now, you can see that it is neatly finished. Now this is what the ruffle is looking like. So I'm just going to bring in my ruffle now, and then I'm going to sew it or tack it at this interval. So you're going to tack it at the midpoint here. I'm just going to hold it with the pin. You go over to your side also where you have your sleeve, you tack it down there. You do the same thing for the other side also, and then you tack it at the back. So after doing this now, I'll take it to the mannequin so that we can see what this is looking like. So now this is my center back. I'm also going to tack it neatly at the center back. Then this is the center back for the other one also. I'll do the same thing. So if you want this to be really full, remember I just shared this 16 inches for both front and back. If you want it to be really full, you should use more fabric, at least 2 of the measurements you took. Okay, so that's going to get you something reasonable. So now after tacking it, I'll take it to the mannequin so that we can see what this looks like. Okay, so now this is what it looks like. You can see that I've tagged it, and you can see that this is not full. Okay, but I initially wanted to put it at the front alone, but I just thought of those that may want to include it at the back, so I just used the opportunity to teach us how we are going to share the fabric so that I can get to both the front and the back. So if you want to do yours, just make sure that it is bigger so that this organza will have enough room to be really full and give you that ball effect that you have there if you want it fuller. But if you are okay with this effect also, you can just leave it as it is. But I feel if the fabric is bigger, it will just give you something really nice. So this is what the front is looking like. This is the center front, this is where the sleeve joined in at the front, and this is it for the other side also. So I'm just going to flip it to see what it looks like on the back. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the back, and I just held this with the pin at the center back area. So that is how you distribute your fabric for it to go from the front to the back. I hope you enjoyed making this tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section, like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.